Hi everybody. It is the most beautiful end of spring, early summer day here on Love Life with Gardening. We're in my vegetable patch and I've just finished finally planting all the veg into the garden. And now I can turn my attention to one of my favorite annual rituals, and that is making elderflower syrup. So the elderflower grows all over this region in late May and early June. And it's a plant that will have a whole cascade of white flowers. In fact, it's an umbrella of little white flowers on a series of stems. And there's another plant that looks quite similar to it, so it's important to take a look at the leaves as well. So you see here the leaves are in pairs opposite each other. Pair, pair, and then there's a single leaf at the end. There are 5 leaves, but then you can also find here there are 7. Pair, 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 and then leaf at the end. So it's important to look out for this to make sure that you are with the right plant. And then something else when you're picking elderflowers is you want to make sure that they're still fresh light green mixed with the white. When it starts to go brown, then it's past its best. And the other thing to look out for is to make sure there aren't any little black beasties, little aphids that are sucking on the stems right below the flowers, because you don't want to have those in your syrup. So it's just best to check each time you're about to snap off one of these flowers. Lots of people use secateurs or scissors to cut them off, but I just use my thumb. So I just grab the flower with my hand and then with my thumb, just snap it off. You can actually pick your flowers pretty quickly this way. Right, so we are ready to get going to make this syrup. Now this syrup has 4 principal ingredients. The flowers obviously, 5 kilos of sugar, 24 lemons, and 3 liters of water. And that's it. I don't use any preservatives, and what I do is I freeze the syrup so that it'll keep. Now what you need in terms of equipment, you need a really big pot, something to grate the lemons with because you're going to use the zest of the lemon, something to juice the lemons with because you're going to juice the lemons, and a bowl to put that juice into, a cutting board so you can cut the lemons in half to juice them, and a spatula to remove all the lemon zest and put it in your pot. And what we're going to do is first we make the syrup, we mix the sugar and the water together, and we gently heat up the sugar and water mixture so that the sugar can dissolve. You don't want to boil it, you don't want it to be super hot, you just want to gently heat it, which will help the sugar dissolve, and stir it regularly. Once you've got your syrup made, you let it cool down, and in the meantime, you zest your lemons, juice your lemons, add all that to the mixture, add your flowers to the mixture. I don't worry about the stalks, I just put all of it in, and then you leave that somewhere cool to infuse for 24 to 48 hours. So in goes the water, 3 liters of water, and in goes your 5 kilos of sugar. I love making things with huge quantities. There's something very satisfying about it. Give it a good stir just to help the dissolving process. Okay, we'll leave that to dissolve. And now we're going to get busy with the lemons. Now I've washed each of these lemons and dried them off. They're organic lemons. And I will zest each one. This is a bit of the long part of the job of making elderflower syrup. So what I recommend is that you find a friend or a willing partner who will help you make this in exchange for a bottle of elderflower syrup. So once you've zested all of your lemons, then it's time to juice them. You can have an electric juicer. I'm doing it the old-fashioned way, by hand. Don't worry about the pips. All of it can go in. Because when you go to bottle your syrup, you're going to strain out all the pieces anyhow. I'm just about to finish juicing my lemons. It got super hot working with the sun, so parasol had to come out. And the sugar is fully dissolved. And how do you know the sugar is fully dissolved? Well, if you run a spoon or the spatula, when I look, it's totally clear. There are no sugar crystals. So we're good there, ready to go. I just need to finish juicing these last few lemons. I feel like one of my friends calls me a green witch, and I do feel a bit like a witch. It's like my big cauldron, and I'm putting all the ingredients in. So in go the lemon zest. Lemon zest is in, juice goes in. And last of all, the elderflowers. And really, you just, as long as you made sure there are no leaves, look. As long as you make sure there are no leaves in there, the stems are fine to be in there because everything is going to get strained out later. It's raining flowers. Give that a stir. You just want to make sure you've got everything soaking in the syrup. And the thing is, because it's water, the flowers will inevitably float. So what I do to prevent the flowers oxidating, going brown while they're infusing, a few more stray leaves, out they come. So what I do to prevent the flowers oxidating, going brown, is I put a plate on top. And I love this plate. It's a plate that my godmother Ida gave me when I first arrived in London when I was 22, with a suitcase and 200 pounds in my pocket and a sense of adventure. So yeah, dear to my heart. In that goes. Put a lid on. And now I'm going to leave this for 24 to 48 hours in a cool place, so in a basement or in a cellar, just so that the flowers and lemon can infuse with the syrup mixture of the water and sugar. And 24 to 48 hours I say because depending on how hot it is, it will start to break down and you don't want the flowers to go bad in the pot. So just check it after 24 hours. And if the flowers still haven't gone too brown, then you're good. You can leave it for another 24 hours. If it's starting to go brown, then you can already bottle it. So 48 hours have passed and it's now time to bottle up the elderflower syrup. What do you need to do this? You need a bowl, a sieve, a funnel and a little sieve that goes in the funnel, a ladle, spatula, and something to put the syrup into. And I've been collecting these glass bottles, these lovely tops, for several years, and I just reuse them each year. You can save other bottles, screw top bottle. And what I did is I just put them in a dishwasher at a high temperature to sterilize them, but you could do the same thing just putting them in a big pot of boiling water. So we're ready to go. Let's see. Take the plate off. Get the sieve in the bowl. And I'm one of those people that doesn't like to waste anything. So I'm just gonna use the spatula, get this off. And you can see where the plate was, that it hasn't oxidized. Around the external perimeter, it has oxidized a bit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take off those oxidized bits and just put those to one side, because they can affect the flavor. So I'm just gonna pick those out. It's been really, really hot here. We're having a sudden heat wave. So that can affect how quickly the flowers break down. All right, those are out. Just a little bit left to go. Still gonna strain that though. Okay, I'm going to put that to one side. And then I use my tool. I don't know what you call it, but it's fantastic for scooping out. It's like a sieve with a handle. It's great for scooping out all the contents. And this isn't a process to be rushed. Take your time. Right, now that I've got the bulk of the bits out of the syrup mixture, I can start bottling. I'm going to put that to one side, because actually there's loads of syrup in that and it's just all gonna strain out. So it's a pretty simple procedure really. You've got your funnel, you've got your sieve, you've got your ladle, and off I go. And you can be guaranteed every single time I do this, it's such a hypnotic thing filling up these bottles that at some point, no matter how hard I concentrate, I always get distracted in the process. And then I just keep pouring one ladle after another. And of course, the bottles are not an infinite space. At some point, the syrup always spills over. But the important thing, because these are glass bottles and because I'm going to actually put them in the freezer, is not to fill them right to the top, so that when it freezes, it has time to expand. Bottle one. And I carry on. It's a kind of lovely, slow process, which I find very satisfying. Oh, so I've done what I always do. It's unbelievable. No matter how hard I try, no matter how much I concentrate, I always, with one bottle, end up getting totally absorbed and pouring the syrup into the bottle, and it always overflows. It's something I seem to be unable to avoid. Oh well, it's just some syrup that's lost. So yeah, making syrup can be a very messy job and sticky job. But there you go. On to another bottle. So from this one pretty flower, the elderflower, I now have this fantastic syrup. And this syrup is great with fizzy water. I also mix it with Pimm's. Pimm's being a wonderful British drink, alcoholic drink. And one of my friends who doesn't drink alcohol says this is fantastic at parties because he mixes it with sparkling water in a champagne glass and he just goes on his way and nobody makes any comment about how he's not drinking alcohol. I don't know why in this day and age people still make those comments, you know, but they do. So, top tip for elderflower syrup. It's delicious. I recommend you try it.